Hey, Alex, we're going to do a dead end.
Oh yeah, what's a dead end again?
These are things that used to be popular and maybe aren't so popular anymore. Kind of things that maybe we grew up with, or maybe things that were even around before we were born. And the one I have today was way before we were born. We've actually talked about it in a couple of episodes, but it's one of the stupider things that people used to do. I think
You've already had a couple of stupid things. You've already had flagpole sitting and pet rocks. So
well,
I mean, you definitely gravitate towards the dumber things that we used to do.
And maybe it's a celebration of the fact that we don't do them anymore. Because this one started in 1939, and of all places, it started on a college campus. I think it was actually Harvard. Why do these dumb things start on college campuses?
And it's always the smartest people that do the dumbest things.
Yeah. This guy Lothrop Withington. Now, what
That's
a name!
Such a Harvard name, isn't it?
Lothrop, Lothrop Withington Jr. I mean, not only Lothrop Withington. Well, in 1939, Lothrop Withington made a $10 bet with one of his classmates, and this got a lot of publicity in the school. Like, people were talking about it. Actually, like the reporter from the college newspaper showed up, and the bet was whether or not he could gulp a goldfish. Did you know that was coming?
I did. I had a feeling this is where you were going. I'm actually surprised that I never saw you do this.
I did swallow. I've swallowed a couple of crickets on a bet before, like live, but never a goldfish.
I one time bet you a lottery ticket and you had a dog drink milk out of your mouth.
I have done that, and I did get a lottery ticket, which didn't win, by the way.
Yeah.
But this guy Lothrop Withington, he took a goldfish out, he swallowed it, he won the bet, and that's where goldfish gulping or goldfish swallowing kind of started to become a fad. And not only did it become a fad, but Lothrop Withington Jr. actually got kind of famous for this and appeared on some game shows. He talked about it. He lived until he was 96 years old and died in 2013. And like that was kind of his main claim to fame, was he was the first person to publicly swallow a goldfish. Now, there was actually a ruse 10 years earlier by the actor Buster Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
You know he is, right?
Yeah,
physical comedy.
Sure.
He was at a Hollywood party and he pulled a goldfish out of a pond that was at the party from a net, like kind of netted it, pulled it out, and swallowed it. And everybody just went ballistic. Like, what are you doing? It was crazy. Well, it turned out he had taken a carrot and he had carved it to look like a fish.
Oh, that's a good prank. I might use that one.
Yeah, Buster Keaton in 1929. Well, Lothrop Withington Jr. Did it in 39, and then all bets were off. People were doing this like crazy. They were trying to set records. As a matter of fact, a month after Lothrop did his one fish, someone did 25 like a month later, and then 36.
Frat parties, right? Frat parties.
Well, this was at MIT, actually. Again, the smart kids. Same year, 1989, 1939, a kid named Albert Hayes set a record of 42. And then there was somebody who actually swallowed. Can you guess what the kind of world record back then was?
So are we talking about one swallow?
We're talking about one fish per swallow. So how many fish?
So
I'm talking about how many fish they did.
So not just a mouthful of fish.
No, I'm talking about like, you take one, you take another one, you take another one.
Just
it's
keep
like a hot
doing
dog
it.
eating contest.
Oh, I would think that's not as impressive as like sticking 200 fish in your mouth and swallowing them all at once.
All at once?
Yes. Now that's a feat.
How that would feel? Oh, that's giving me the creeps.
Well, that's why that should be the record. Just doing it one time, one fish a bunch of times just sounds tedious.
Well, 42. What? Someone beat that record, and guess what? How many it was?
Whatever they did, I could beat it by one. It was just I wouldn't want to, but it's I don't
Could
know.
you though? Could you? I mean, at some
It would be
point,
a waste of my time, but it wouldn't be like
it's
dangerous.
oh no, actually, there's
So I
a
would
lot of
think the
reasons not
dangerous
to.
part is the water that it's in, ingesting the water, not the fish itself.
Well, this guy named Joseph Deliberato from Clark University uh, set the record at 89.
Wow. In
I mean, think
Atlanta.
about how much volume that is. Even if they're small goldfish, 89
It's
of
just
them.
a lot of water to drink.
Well, I don't think they drank them. I think they pluck them out by the tail and drop it in their mouth.
I could probably do 90. I mean, if I
Okay.
had to, I mean, anybody could. It's whether you
Well,
want to or not. I mean, it doesn't seem very hard.
okay. So first of all,
Now you guys want to tell me somebody died doing this, aren't you?
this got to be. Oh no, people have died from it. People have died from it. As a matter of fact, there
Really?
is a book called "I Died Swallowing a Goldfish and Other Life Lessons from the Morgue" by a guy named Kent Holloway. And this guy
Really?
worked in a morgue, and he saw someone who had come in because they died from swallowing a goldfish.
Now, why? How would it
Well,
kill you?
okay, first of all, they carry parasites,
Mhm.
like intestinal worms that can be transferred to you. They carry bacteria. They taste like mud,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they
This
taste like
stuff isn't sushi grade, is what you're saying.
whatever they ate. Well, I mean, they're basically carp, right? Goldfish
Yeah.
were
Right.
they were big in Asia. We
Mhm.
talked a couple of weeks ago about Marco Polo and Kubla Khan. I'm sure Kubla Khan had goldfish back
Had a
then.
koi pond.
Had a koi pond. Kubla Khan's koi pond.
But we're just talking. Is that your new miniature golf place?
Yeah, welcome to the pleasure dome of Kubla Khan's koi pond.
I thought they were the little tiny kind though that you'd get in a little
Well,
bag.
okay, so let's talk for a minute about goldfish. Goldfish actually are omnivores, so they eat anything. They're not picky about what they eat. Typically, when they're in captivity, they eat pellets, but sometimes they're fed bloodworms. Sometimes they're fed. They'll eat plants. They'll eat algae, all kinds of stuff. The oldest living goldfish lived to an age of guess on record. I mean, there may have been older living goldfish, but the one that we know about that lived the longest lived to how
I
long?
mean, the longest one I ever kept was about 8 days.
8 days. Okay.
I don't know, 4 years?
49 years.
No, what? A
Yes.
goldfish? Dude.
So they're actually if they're the reason they die after 8 days is because people don't generally give them what they need. They're in a little bowl and they're in too small of a container. They're only fed the pellets, and because they're an omnivore, they actually need a more varied diet than that.
The water isn't recirculating. It's just
the water gets stagnant. They're pretty dirty fish. I think they poop a lot. So 49 years there was the goldfish, and take a guess how big they can get.
Well, I've seen some koi ponds where they can get pretty big.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about koi or carp. So they are actually not goldfish technically.
But they look like giant goldfish.
They do, but they're two different types of fish.
Really?
I guess a carp, maybe a goldfish is a type of carp, but it's not the same thing as a koi fish.
So they don't get that big.
Well, they can get 18 inches and 10 pounds.
Wow.
But it's a goldfish, not a carp.
And do they actually live in the sea?
No, they're typically freshwater.
Okay.
Freshwater fish.
But
so
you actually have them in the wild?
I mean, I think what happened is I think they were originally bred. They were wild fish that were much like dogs. They were like wolves.
Mm-hmm.
There were wolves. Well, there were fish that were bred to look a certain way, and actually in China, this was where they were really big. They were bred to be that gold color and could be only be owned by wealthy people.
Mm. When I picture goldfish, they're not really gold; they're orange.
Yeah. I mean, they vary. They can vary in color. There actually is a type of goldfish called a ranchu, and they can cost like $150.
Wow.
And then you can get some of them at the fair. You can win it in a little bag. As a matter of fact, funny story. One of my daughter's friends actually gave her a koi fish for her birthday one time, and we're like, "Who gives you a koi fish?" Then we had a koi fish we had to deal with. But
I was going to ask, have you ever had like an aquarium and bit all in on the whole thing?
Actually, it wasn't a koi; it was a beta fish.
Oh, those are the ones you can't put together.
Right? They
kill each other. Yeah.
Yep. We had that beta fish, and we ended up getting a tank for it, and then we had some frogs, 2 frogs. They were named Popper and Sucky, were the 2 frogs.
It's kind of funny they would name the most aggressive fish a beta fish. It should be the alpha fish, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, even if you put a mirror up. And then we actually had for a while, I think we had this tank, my daughter had gotten this beta fish for her birthday from one of her friends. So we had this tank that it was in, and we just kind of felt like since we had the tank, we always had to keep fish. So we had several other, small fish, we never had goldfish in it, but we did end up with an eel. And the eel was actually pretty cool.
We had an eel. When I was little, we had a fish tank we had an eel, and then it disappeared, and then
it jumped out.
Well, we didn't know, and then one time my parents found me on the stairs that were behind the goldfish eating a pretzel that I had found on the pretzel stick that I had found on the stairway. Of course,
and that was your eel.
That was the eel.
So our eel was named Joe Ely. And
nice.
He jumped out, and yeah, same kind of thing. But the eels would bury themselves in the little rocks down at the bottom sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if yours ever did that. But we're talking about goldfish swallowing and goldfish. So actually goldfish sleep with their eyes open. They don't have eyelids, so they can't close them. They're often seen as a symbol of good luck. And there were sailors in the, back in the day that would have they called it they were Buddhists, and they called these things mercy ponds. So when a sailor would catch a goldfish, the Buddhists would take them in these mercy ponds, and if they were donated to the mercy ponds, it was supposed to bring good weather and good luck to the sailors.
So the ones that these guys were eating, though, or ingesting, they were swallowing. How big were they?
These were probably your little smaller, maybe the size of, like their main body was maybe a little bigger than a quarter, and so then all in, like imagine a quarter with a tail and a fin on top.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
What would prevent somebody that's eating 25 from eating 26?
I mean, what stops Joey Chestnut from eating one more hot dog?
So you think you got full?
Yeah, you got full. I mean, 25 goldfish is a lot of goldfish.
I don't think so.
Well, they also don't have a 3-second memory. They say that goldfish actually, if you own one, you'll know that they have a routine, and they'll come to like the surface when they want to eat. Like they know that you're going to feed them at a certain time, and they'll come. They've also been taught to do tricks like swimming through hoops. So goldfish aren't as stupid as people think.
Oh, I'd never heard of the thing. What's the rumor that they have a 3-second memory?
Yeah, you've never heard that a goldfish has a memory of 3 seconds, and that basically it forgets everything. It's kind of like only remembering what's right in front of it.
No, I never heard that.
Oh, well, it's not true. They have better memory. So now, of course, a group of goldfish is called a school. They're also called a shoal. Have you heard that one?
That's not the same thing as a school?
Yeah. And then
language?
It's just another. It's usually applied to saltwater fish. Like any group of fish can be a school of fish. A shoal of fish is more like saltwater fish. Oh. But it's correct to call a group of goldfish a shoal. But there's also a more poetic name. Like, have you ever heard of like a parliament of owls or a muster of peacocks?
Oh yeah, a murder of flamingos. We did this on another episode. Remember?
Yeah. Well, you know what it's called with goldfish? a troubling of goldfish.
Oh, I like that.
A troubling of goldfish. Yeah. So, I mean, the reasons you might swallow them: impress your friends. Maybe you like those little goldfish crackers, those ones that are popular, kind of cheese flavored. Maybe it feels good going down. Maybe you're really hungry.
I'm surprised you're coming down on the anti swallowing a goldfish. If you had told me that there's somebody in my life that swallow goldfish, you would be close to the top of that list. I'm surprised that you're so anti goldfish swallowing.
As much as I appreciate it, I do think it's probably a little bit cruel to the goldfish.
That's true.
And then I
do like animals.
Those intestinal worms, that really kind of is a turn off.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah. So pretty much, the trend started in 1939. I mean, you can certainly still find people that will swallow goldfish, and there might be videos of them. I did actually, in my research, find a couple of people who were sent to court or, summoned or ticketed for swallowing goldfish for being cruel to animals. But
oh, really?
I think that's the people that swallow them incessantly and post it online. That was their mistake.
Right. And I don't know. I mean, aren't there some, like, how do you square that with like eating lobster? Where we literally
you're not eating the lobster. You're not eating. I mean, you're boiling the lobster alive, which is pretty bad. I don't know. I don't know how lobsters. You know how they say like frogs, if you heat them up slowly enough, they don't feel it. I don't know how it is with lobsters, but I mean, you're swallowing the goldfish alive.
It seems that's shaky ground, though. Once you go that way, it seems like once you call that cruel, then it seems like you're opening the door for a lot of ways that we kill animals to eat them.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know where the line should be drawn, but like I said, I draw the line at crickets, live crickets. But I won't.
Wait, you do that or don't do that?
I've done that. It's been a while.
That's where you draw so the line is on the other side of that.
It's crickets are the most, the only live animal I will actually swallow.
Good to know.
And then finally, here's the last reason, is that goldfish watching has been proven to decrease anxiety and blood pressure. So instead of swallowing your goldfish, just get in a nice tank, and maybe it'll live to be 49 years old.
Now, if you could have combined the goldfish watching with the goldfish eating, swallowing, with the X-ray shoe fitter,
you could watch it go down your gullet,
and you could watch them swim in your belly.
And then you could also verify how many there were. Like,
I would guess it would still be popular. Yeah.
Both would still be popular.
Was that a thing in the 30s, 40s, and 50s? Like, I feel like they did that on Happy Days.
Yeah, I think it was less of a thing then, but definitely kind of stopped in the 60s.
Yeah.
Started in the late 30s and stopped in the 60s. I think by the 60s, frivolous stuff like that, like flagpole sitting was and goldfish swallowing was done.
And I think much like a lot of our dead ends, they aren't just things that used to be. They're things that never will be again, usually. Right? The things that we talk about are things that happened and they're dead for a reason. It's a dead end. They're not coming back, right?
And as I said, the book that was popped up was I died swallowing a goldfish and other life lessons from the morgue. So, don't die from swallowing. There's better ways to go than that.
Slipping smooth down my throat, Goldie glides like a note. Cold and quick they float, but there's more to this coat. Feeling good as they slide, tiny fins just glide. Caught up in the ride, but there's danger inside. Goldfish blues I sing, feels good like a swing, but don't touch that ring, life's a fragile thing. One too many you'll see, choking and a plea. Can't feel that bleed when breathing's a dream. Swallowing down with ease, feels like a gentle breeze, but beware of these bold mistakes and please. Hold 'em